And we're back, guys. Welcome to Tennis in a Minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. I give you the rundown on tennis coverage every day, but this is the late night segment, Tennis After Dark. We're taking a look at today's matches as well as tomorrow's matches. And I want to say thank you guys for all the love and support. If you're listening to this right now, do me a favor. Go back and like all 6,000 of my videos. Go to the community, like all of that stuff. Thank you for the love and support. And for the people that come here and listen, listen, I hit record and I just go at it. And that's the beauty of this channel. It's there's no script, guys. I hit record, we're covering the matches, and I'm giving you what I'm feeling at the time. And the reality is that's a beautiful thing, right? Now, semifinal to be played, guys. We have Barbora Krejcikova, who was a huge underdog to make it this far, taking on Elena Rybakina. But before we get there, let's just take a look at Barbora. Look, I've been telling you guys for a long time, she's one of the classiest ladies on tour. She's amazing, right? 28 years old now, former ranked number 2, right? We've seen her as high as number 2 after winning that French Open title. She's currently ranked 32nd. And look, 12-9 on the year. She's been injured, hasn't had a great season, but look, making it to a slam semifinal, that's all you need to make the race to the championship, right? Saudi Arabia, 7-2 on grass this year. And things started off in Birmingham pretty good. She made it to the quarterfinal where she lost to Potapova, gone wild. But she took out Dasha Seville, good shot maker. Harriet Dart, who's got a good motor, very fiery, firecracker. She took out Veronika Kudermetova here. And she did have a first round exit in Eastbourne where Leylah Fernandez took her out in 3. But Kudermetova she beat in 3. Volley nets in the second round. Volley nets could just not get a rhythm against Barbora. Buzas Monero, who was hot qualifier, gave her a bagel. She retired in the second set. Danielle Collins, who has a lot of power, huge fastball, couldn't get anything going and would actually just overexert herself and end up getting injured. And of course, today she took out Ostapenko. Now, Danielle Collins, that matchup there, guys, if you watched it, Danielle was very frustrated, right? Because Barbora made her work. The thing with Barbora, she has amazing topspin. She's from the Czech. Her ball's got low trajectory, low bounce on the grass. It's tough to get under these shots. So a lot of these powerful hitters really haven't been able to do anything with what Barbora is dishing out. And as you see there, Danielle Collins, her 27th Grand Slam. Her best, of course, is making it to the 22 Australian Open Championship where Ashley Barty took her out. But Danielle, very frustrated. She would get injured, leave the court, and come back. What about Ostapenko, guys, right? Ostapenko has dominated this matchup, but they only played once previously on grass, which was Birmingham, and Ostapenko won that match, but still went to a tiebreak. So on grass, we're seeing clearly Barbora, and we all know she's a clay slam champion, but we're seeing clearly that Czech game is very deadly on grass. Ostapenko, again, much like Danielle Collins, very frustrated. We saw Ostapenko yelling at her camp. And we want to talk about that, right? Because a lot of these ladies have been yelling at their camps. We saw Donna Vekic tell her camp 5 times to shut up. We've heard Elena Rybakina do it in the past, right? Ostapenko does it literally all the time. And what about when Coco looks to her camp for answers? You know, we're quick to criticize Coco, but here's the problem. Right, and we're going to talk about Coco, of course. This is a huge Coco channel. This is what I don't think people understand. Coco's lost to Emma. Now, I told you the reality here is it's not her time. Okay, this was not her tournament to win. I could easily see she wasn't going to win it even before the quarterfinal. But the reality here is, in terms of Coco, or the round of 16, in terms of Coco, I felt that, personally, the game plan was too much. Let her play. When you see Coco start to look at her coaches for answers, it's because they're making her think too much. They're trying to implement too much against a person that literally she dominated last time out. Navarro said, she said Coco was too much. She wasn't ready for her, right? As an athlete, you just want to make sure you're healthy, in shape, and comfortable, ready to play. When you're playing someone you know you can beat, you know you're better than, you don't want to over prepare for that, because what happens is you're thinking too much and you're living in your head. You don't want your opponent living rent free in your head. And I felt that match there, Coco let her nerves get the best of her, and she said she's been nervous playing at Wimbledon. It's historic, right? We all know that, you know. Now they'll tell you that, every seat is always sold out. That's, come on, like, get out of here, cut it out. I'm covering these matches. I have literally years of Wimbledon coverage. There's always empty seats. Like, cut it out, stop it. But nonetheless, guys, the reality here is, and look, I can go into that a little bit more, but I'm not. That's just surface level. But the reality here is, Coco's the type of athlete that you have, to some extent, especially when she's playing someone you know she's better than, that she should be, let her play, okay? And we saw that with all those double faults, guys. Let her play. And when you try to change someone's game too much, you take away their impulse, their instinct, right? Can you imagine? And you guys ever coach athletics, kids, teenagers, men, women, doesn't matter. When you coach someone and let's say you implement a new play and they don't have it down all the way, they're going to get, as they're making mistakes, they're getting nervous and they're not thinking about the gameplay anymore. They're thinking about pleasing you as a coach and making sure they run the play right, right? That is not productive, right? If you haven't mastered something, it's very, very tough to play perfectly, especially if you're trying a new game plan and you're switching. This is why when you see players, when they switch coaches, they go through a struggle period where they struggle because they have to get the new tactics and the new game plan down packed. That's why when players change coaches, a lot of times they lose immediately, which is why I was shocked when David Witt came on. She started playing great. What about Yu Yan? When she got her new coach, she won the ATX Open with her new coach. I was shocked because normally that's not how it happens. You take a look at a college coach in particular, when they take over a new program, a lot of times those kids struggle and a lot of them change. They go to the transfer portal. So looking at Coco and how she struggled in that match, it's because she's thinking too much. I felt they over game plan for someone she should have beat. If there was no game plan, they said, Coco, just go play, have fun, figure it out, problem solve. She wins that match. She's doing, and again, go back to the double faults. Coco has never averaged this many double faults in the season. So when you're implementing a new game plan, a new strategy, a new serve, it's going to take time to figure it out. And I just felt that, look, I don't know what the game plan was, but seeing Coco just be, she was just letting Emma just do whatever she wanted out there. She was reacting, instead of taking charge of the rallies, instead of, being the first to strike. She was playing that counter punching style, but she couldn't get into the rallies because Emma already had her 2 feet behind the baseline attacking the forehand. And I just felt that Coco, she didn't use her speed and athletic ability. So I'm not sure what the game plan was, but it seemed like Coco was not playing at all her style and herself. It just seemed like she wasn't trying to get to the backhand. It seemed like she wasn't trying to hit passing shots. And it seemed like she wasn't really putting effort into the forehand. So I'm not sure what the game plan was. I would have loved to just be a fly on the wall, to be honest with you. But watching her play as much as I do, and I played, if you take a look at the last video I did on the match, you see how she's jumping into the forehand. I don't know what that was about, But nonetheless, it wasn't her time. So it is what it is. But I just felt that looking over to her camp, she was looking for answers for the game plan they gave her, which obviously was not working. And what I would suggest, if that happens, like the great players, talk about Michael Jordan, in a game winning situation, in a clutch situation where he has to step up. Phil Jackson's he's saying, look, just get the ball in Michael's hands. That's what he's saying. And I would love to see Coco, if that game plan's not working, switch up, go to what you do best, and let the game come to you. Because over the course of 2 or 3 sets, a 2 hour match, she's going to prevail. She's that good. She's eventually going to come out on top. And this is why you hear players like Donna Vekic telling her coach to shut up, because she's trying to problem solve and figure it out. Where Coco, she's too honest, she's too sweet. She's trying to stick to the game plan and listen to her coaches, but at some point you got to throw that game plan out the window. And this is why the older players like Donna Vekic, Elena, you'll hear them tell their coaches to shut up, because they don't want that extra stress and pressure that the coach is putting on them when they're trying to figure out their opponent. And I think Paula Badosa said it best, over the course of a 2 or 3 set match, eventually you can figure out what your opponent's doing, and I feel Coco figured that out, but she's going to her coaches for the answer, and I don't think she needed to do that, to be honest with you. And this is another example of sometimes too many voices is not good, because Coco's got, what, 3 coaches now? It's a lot of voices. So, and I think when you're looking over who's the leader, I mean, I would imagine Brad Gilbert's the head coach, but the reality here is whose voice you're going to listen to, you know. But nonetheless, again, I think people are also blowing that out of proportion, because at the end of the day, Emma Navarro's a really good player, and Coco's not going to win every match. No player wins every match. Last I checked, Iga's out, Coco's out. Literally all of the top 5 seeds are out, except for Elena Rybakina, who's got a good chance to win it. But I just wanted to touch upon the Coco situation, because look, this is a big Coco channel, and my words to you is, it's okay, guys. It's okay, because Coco still has a chance to go to France and win a medal. Could be bronze, could be silver, could be gold. As long as she wins a medal, we're going to be happy, because we know Iga's very dominant on clay. However, nothing's a given. It could be a sleeper that comes out of nowhere and wins the French Open. So we'll see. But Ostapenko very upset, yelling at her camp. Now, if Rybakina is going to have success against Barbora, she's going to need to do what Elena did, right? Go for the winner, 4 to 5 shots in the rally, and pin her back deep behind the baseline. So if you take a look here, I do have a clip. Take a look at Barbora, how deep she is behind the baseline. Rybakina is really good at extending her opponents behind the baseline. And here it is. Too deep. So Rybakina, if Rybakina plays that type of style against Barbora, doesn't matter what the head-to-head is. She's going to beat Barbora. Mixing her serving and that deep ball, Barbora is not going to beat you from there. Now, Barbora was able to get control of this match and win it, because a lot of the rallies, Elena could not establish that type of position in court control. Everything was coming from inside, and that's where Barbora is going to beat you from. Inside the baseline, coming cross court with her angles, her good serve placement. And Elena, overall, Barbora is very skilled. She's very tactical. She's very smart. She's got a lot of veteran tactics that will literally throw you off of your momentum and your rhythm, and you'll never really get into the rally. She's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at Elena Rybakina if she's going to have success again. And by the way, she owns a head-to-head 2-love. Now, let's take a look at Rybakina. Playing solid tennis, cool as the other side of the pillow as always. One of the most mentally tough players on tour. And I think and I say it all the time, I think she's got the best coach on tour. When it comes to in-match adjustments, now we've heard her tell her coach to shut up in the past, but overall, her coach, when it comes to finding the answer to her opponent, is always on top. And the reality here is, I think that shows how much work and dedication he puts in film and recognizing her opponents and coming up with a game plan. And Serena's coaches always had a really good game plan, right? You would hear Serena say all the time, I'll let my coaches, put together a strategy and I'll listen to them. So Serena had a lot of trust in her coaches over the years, but say it all the time. Stefano, he's the best coach on tour, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion because I think he always bails Elena Rybakina out of tough situations. When she goes to answers, he always has the answer. But another thing, if you watch Stefano's, when the match is being played, his eyes are literally glued on the court. He's watching everything. That's an amazing coach. And not that these other coaches are not, but the way he interprets this data, it's just amazing. He's very analytical. And that's how I am. That's how I would be a hands-on coach. I would make sure my player knows everything. Look, if I see any sign of fatigue, if I see a player that's leaning or doing one thing, I will be all in my player's ear, giving them everything they need. And I think Stefanos is the best coach on tour without a doubt. Number two, probably go with Thomas, Eagles coach. Number three, I like David Witt. I think he's gonna have issues with Zachary. I think she's resorting back to her older ways. And then I put Brad Gilbert in there. Those are my top coaches right there. But nonetheless, Elena, very dominant run here so far. And look, she's won 8 of her last 10. I mean, she's beat Svitolina twice on this run here. Remember, she beat her at the French Open straight sets. But Laura Sigmund scared me. The drop shots, Elena was very frustrated. And I felt she wasn't exactly in her form. Gabby will wear you out, the match in the first round with Gabby. But Waz, she played very well. Big power difference. Now, Anna was up 3-1. She did get injured. And that's a match that if Anna didn't injure it, I think if she did not get injured, I think she would have did something there. But Svitolina just couldn't hang with the power, and we saw that today. Now, again, she was up early. We've been seeing Elena Rybakina start slow early. She cannot start slow against Barbora because if you give her more confidence, especially let her rhythm get going, then you're going to be down. And this is what I think is going to happen in this match. I think Barbora here, I don't know, I think she's being disrespected a little bit here. I don't think Rybakina is going to win Wimbledon. I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I think I'll save that for later. Why don't I do that? We're going to go with Barbora plus 6.5 on the alternate spread. That's what we're going to take, Barbora plus 6.5. And listen, I wouldn't count Barbora out of this match, guys, because she has the problem solving to bail her out of these situations. And if it gets too tough, guess what she's going to do? She's going to go to her veteran tactics to find ways to get back in the rallies and slow down the gameplay. Yes, she's just like Iga. This is why Iga struggles against both of these ladies, because they can match Iga's mental. And I like Barbora plus 6.5 games. I think this is going to be a really good match. I'll be watching with my eyes glued to the TV. And who's next? Ciao Bella, a.k.a. Little Italy, by way of Africa. Now, she tells you firsthand, she gets her speed from Africa. She is explosive, powerful, one of my favorite players to watch, and she plays with everything, guys. She leaves everything on the line, her heart, guts, glory, passion, effort. And she's going to take on Donna Veck. It's someone she owns a head-to-head against. I want to start with Jasmine, right? So Jasmine is here. She's playing amazing tennis. She's won 8 of her last 10. Her second straight, at least semifinal appearance in a slam. And before you know it, she's going to be the most consistent player on tour when it comes to slams. If she has another good run at the U.S. Open deep, which she probably will, watch out for Jasmine. This might be her year. Remember I said, look, we could very well see Jasmine and Rybakina in the championship. And you guys already know if we get Jasmine and Rybakina in the championship, I'm going with Jasmine to win it. I'm telling you, she is a problem for Rybakina. I've been telling you guys that for a long time. But nonetheless, she took out Sarah Turmo in the first round. She took out Greet Minen, Bibi, Madison Keys, and Navarro. She has not dropped a set in this tournament. Or actually, I take that back. Madison Keys, she did drop a set to. But other than that, she has not dropped a set in this tournament. Now, the Madison Keys match, a lot of people they're upset at what we're going to talk about. Emma too. A lot of people are upset at Madison Keys. They think that she tried to rob Jasmine of her glory. Listen, guys, Madison Keys was up 5-2 in that third set. But I told you she wasn't going to win the match. Okay, I can see who's going to win some of these, not all these matches, but a good portion of them. I can see who's going to win the match. Madison Keys was not going to win the match. But here's the thing. She was up 5-2. She got injured, okay? Growing injury, very tough. It's very deceptive because you can feel the pain, but as an athlete, you're still going to try and play through it. But the problem is the pain flares up as you move faster and cut. So therefore, you may think you can give it a go, but as soon as you start to move, it's like, oh no, this is not happening. Now, Madison was up 5-2. What is she thinking? She's thinking, look, if I can get an ace or two in, you never know what can happen. Maybe she can shank one. I just need to hold serve and I'll win. Then I can get treatment. I can wrap it up. I can assess myself in the next day to see if I can play, or if not, I'll withdraw. But listen, guys, one of the biggest matches of her life. Yes, she's a U.S. Open runner-up, 2017, Sloane Stephens. We all know that. But this is, and she made the U.S. Open semifinal as well. She was up against Sabalenka. She could have been playing Coco, and who knows, history could have been different. Could have been Madison Keys hosting her first Grand Slam. But the reality here is she has the serve. Of course, you're going to go out there and try one more time to serve out the match, guys. Come on. She's not trying to rob Jasmine of her glory. She's going to give it a go. And when she saw she couldn't serve, then you retire. Because now you're already risking injuring the growing further, right? It could be a growing. Look, you keep playing on an injured growing. We're talking about it's never going to heal. That could be a timetable of 1 to 2 months to 4 to 6 months just by playing an extra service game on it. And the reality here is if she could not hold serve with that injury, you have to retire. And she tried it one more time. It didn't work. But there's no way she's going to be able to defend if she can't hold serve. Players hold serve for the most part on the main tours, females, about 70% of the time. If she can't hold, and players win their return games anywhere from 25 to 30% of the time. If she can't hold serve, there's no way she's going to break someone with that type of injury. So give Madison Keys a break. She's one of the classiest players on tour, okay? Jasmine, like she said, you never want to win that way, but she's happy to be here. And the match with Emma Navarro, despite Emma owning the head-to-head, different surface, guys. Jasmine's way too fast and athletic for Emma. And remember, guys, Emma's still fairly new to the tour. She hasn't even been on tour for 2 full seasons. She's still very young. So, again, Jasmine's form, the matches she faced previously with Emma Navarro, I just think that tennis is all about, I say it all the time, rhythm, timing, and form, and schedule. It depends on who you're playing when you're playing them, right? Because they played twice this year, but the reality here is I just felt Jasmine, and the last time at Miami did go 3 sets, by the way. And, a lot of those matches have gone over 10, 11, 12 service games. So I just felt that this surface made a huge impact, a huge difference. And on grass, it's the fastest surface. Jasmine's speed is going to excel and shine, which is why I think a matchup between Jasmine and Rybakina is going to be very detrimental for Rybakina. Jasmine's too fast. Rybakina is going to get her 8 to 10 aces. We know that. But in terms of speed and having the confidence, knowing that she's a lot faster than Rybakina, she's going to play with a lot more effort and enthusiasm, knowing this is it could be her last time making a semifinal or a championship. She's come a long way. I've been rooting for Jasmine for a very long time. And to see her here, it's a beautiful thing. But the match with Emma Navarro, Emma's very good. But again, she's still a little bit immature. And I think her game is still growing. I think she's Jessica 2.0. I think she's going to have a great career. I think Emma's going to win multiple Grand Slams. I do think she's going to win multiple Grand Slams because she's that good and that technical. But I do think overall, despite the head to head, I think Paolini has just a lot more raw talent in that forehand. And I think her athletic ability just puts her in places to return balls and get ahead of the rally that Emma just can't match. And again, don't pay too much. I wouldn't pay too much mind when it comes to head because a lot of that depends on, how the player's feeling at the time, if they're healthy, the surface, a lot goes into that. So I would disregard that. And that's why I said Jasmine was a pick there. And she wins, guys. So her opponent's going to be Donna Vekic. So Donna Vekic had a pretty tough time lately here. We saw the match against Lulu Sun where she had to come back as she was down a set. And that was a numeric lock for Lulu Sun to win that first set. And she certainly did. Now, Donna Vekic is here after taking out Wong, Andreva, Diana Yastremska, Badosa, and Lulu. She has dropped 3 consecutive sets, and she is lucky to be here. She's dropped a total of 4 overall sets in this tournament. And I think having just coming off of a championship at Bad Homburg, she's played a lot of tennis, ladies and gentlemen, a lot. She's played at least 6 sets. I mean, we're talking about the last couple of weeks. She's played at least 6 matches, that have gone 3 sets. That's a lot of tennis. Is she tired? How's she going to hold up against someone that's very fast and explosive? Donna Vekic is going to have to make this a short and fast match. She's going to have to overpower Jasmine and back her up if she wants to win. This is a match where Pam's addition to the camp is not going to help. You do not want Donna Vekic to get into a short ball match with Jasmine Paolini. She's going to lose it. She's going to have to beat Jasmine from the baseline. And I don't know if she can do that. I like Jasmine to come out and win the first set and set the tone in this match. That's going to be the pick. I like Jasmine Paolini, a.k.a. Little Italy, to win the first set. And I like Barbora to cover the 6.5. Those are the picks, guys. Enjoy. And who do you guys think is going to win it all? Comment below. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm ready for the Olympics. I'm ready to see who's going to win gold. I'm kind of over Wimbledon. We all know it's a big Coco channel. Coco goes out. It's just not as interesting anymore. But I do like Jasmine. Elena Rybakina is big time. Barbora is one of the classiest players on tour. And Donna Vekic, as I say it all the time, she does what she wants. She's that powerful. So 4 amazing ladies left. It's still going to be some good tennis to be played. So comment, who do you think is going to win it? And who do you think has the least chance to win it? Of all these 4 ladies, who has no chance to win it? Now, that's going to be tough to answer because reality here is I think all of these matchups are a coin toss. But we'll be back, guys. Thanks for listening.